Hello there. Once again, this is Anton from Antonimo Bay, and today I am humbled to bring you another selection from the Widow's collection. I got over a long box of Superman here that her husband collected, and he passed away 15 years ago, and she sold the collection to me just recently, and I've been working my way through all of them and kind of showing you guys what I got and trying to figure out for myself what I got. And I gotta say, this particular box is just humbling. I've never read Superman. I've never been a huge Superman comic reader. Been a big fan of the movies. Been a big fan of everything else Superman I could ever get my hands on. But the comics were always just like a mystery to me. And so to have somebody dump this many comics of Superman on me, it's just staggering, guys. I can't even believe it. And my special guest action figures today, 2 wouldn't do. I had to bring the whole family out here. We got Mattel Superman from Dark Knight Returns, one of my favorite Superman figures that I own, that I've ever wanted to own. We have Melissa Benoist Supergirl figure. I don't care what you guys say, I love that show. We have Super Friends Superman in the back. We have DC Icons Supergirl, and we have a Golden Age Lois Lane with superpowers. If you didn't know that existed, you do now. And guys, I'm just gonna start going through these, and we're gonna see what I got, because there is just so many. I can't even put it into words. I'm gonna just flip through them real fast. Now, because I don't know Superman that well, I mean, I know a lot about him. I know his villains and all that stuff, but I don't know the comics that great. So if there's something in here that's like, oh, that's important, that's great, or that's a really great Superman story, let me know. I would take any information on these that I could. I know I've got regular issues of Superman. I've got Action Comics starring Superman. I've got a few that are stuck together. Of course, this was he collected during the 90s, so there's a lot of Death of Superman stuff. There's Superman Man of Steel, Superman Annual Bloodlines, another Superman 114. Like I said, these just get stuck together, and they're a little bit hard sometimes to separate them. Just a staggering amount of Superman books, and I did my best to get bags on all of them. I know they need boarded. If I was a collector out there watching, I'd say, why don't they have boards in them? You gotta have boards in them. Guys, you know how much it costs to bag and board 3,000 comics? I'm doing the best I can. I'm slowly but surely getting these things put away and stored properly. I started with Marvel because that's what I know. Nice crypto cover. Ooh, that one's got some damage. Looks like she spilled some soda on that one. There was a few boxes of comics that we watched her spill soda on when we were buying them, so take that for what you will. Superman Red and Blue. Precursor to Pokemon. Just a nuts amount of Superman comics. Man of Steel. And this is just the Superman comics. I got a huge pile of Supergirl. I got a big pile of Superboy. Steel. I think I have a full run of Steel. If not, it's close to a full run. I just can't believe this guy collected. He had a lot of Marvel. But that's a really cool cover. I love this artist. Whoever that is. I gotta figure out who that is. 'Cause that's good stuff. Yeah, he had a lot of Marvel, but then all of a sudden I hit this like box of Superman stuff. And as you can see, she'd been trying to sell these things off. She's got little stickers on the corner. She was trying to sell them for 50 cents an issue and couldn't get them. She couldn't get 50 cents an issue. She tried all over to sell these things. And they weren't moving, and she had them forever. And finally, she was just so tired of them. She's just like, you gotta take them. Just buy the whole set. And she took the money that we gave her and went and bought a set of new teeth, which I would rather have the comics, but she needed a new set of dentures, which I think is hilarious that she told us that, what she was going to do with the money. But anyway, that's what we got. I'm going to pull these down because we're getting really thick here. Starts working too much towards the camera and they start to sink in the stacks here. Just an unbelievable amount of Superman books. And I don't know if it's, I don't believe the 90s were probably the golden age for Superman by any means. I know they had the Lois and Clark series on, and that was like the only living, breathing Superman that was really, really rocking it back in the day. Ironically, I still think Dean Cain is still one of my favorite Superman of all time. I absolutely loved him as Superman. I loved the throwback, how he is her dad in that series, and how also the gal who played Supergirl in the first Supergirl series was in that. There's Superman vs. Predator, which that sounds like that'd be a really short fight, I think. Yeah, I don't see how Predator would hold much ground against Superman. Of course, I know everybody's all into this. Oh, Batman could take him. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, everybody gets into this. What about prep time? Well, screw prep time. You gonna battle? Battle. And Batman, you just see what you get. I'm calling her. I am in Camp Superman all the way. You know, a lot of fanboys out there are all about the Batman. And shoot, they use kryptonite more than Lex Luthor does. More Superman blue. That looks interesting. Having just a little flashback of maximum clonage there with that multi-Superman cover. Some of the best Superman books I've read, and albeit now I told you I did not read a lot, and I've read hardly any. However, I did read Superman Gen 13. That was just beautiful. I absolutely loved that. Gorgeous, gorgeous story. Basically, the kids from Gen 13 go to Metropolis, and they're like, man, this guy's not cool at all. And one by one, they start to see why he is cool. Oh my gosh, Lobo. Oh, I hate that guy. I mean, I've read his comics, but oh my gosh, he's unlikable. And I would definitely love to see Superman pound that guy into a grease smear. I also hear a lot of Superman versus Goku crap. And without getting like crazy into that, yeah, I'm still in Camp Superman. He can totally take Goku. I've watched 8 or 9 seasons of Dragon Ball Z. I'm still betting on Superman. He's only died once. Goku's died much more times than that. More Man of Steel. There's another Action Comics. And I know Action Comics is not technically Superman's book, but I mean, it kind of is. I mean, it's totally his book. His first appearance was in that book. That's his book. So I'm counting that as a Superman title because it's a Superman title. Call it what you want. That's totally his book. Cranking through these things here. That dude looks awesome. A little bit older one. I dig that. Now it floors me that she couldn't get 50 cents for these. Absolutely floors me. That's actually how I discovered her. I went into a thrift or a flea market, consignment thrift shop thing, and there was tons of comics, and they were all 50 cents. And I was like, holy cow, who's got all these comics? And the guy's like, oh, it's this old widow who would love for somebody to come buy all of them. And he hooked us up, and that's how I met her, and that's how I got the books found. Pull down some more here, because it's just overwhelming. Tuck those back into a long box, and we'll proceed on. Crazy amount. Like I said, a humbling amount of Superman comics. Now, I kind of have the same problem with Superman, the comic, that I do with Spider-Man. And that's, I don't know where to begin. Where do you even start digging through these? How does the plot move? Does it go through just Superman, or does it go through Superman, Man of Steel, or Superman Adventures? You know, how does that plot move its way through? Some that are stuck together a little bit. Like I said, I will do a video on all of the Steel comics and all of the Superboy comics and all of the Supergirl, because I'm actually quite a big fan of Supergirl, even from years back. Something about that character design has always intrigued me. Same power set, not near as popular. Vote Lex. Looks like a guest appearance from Stars and Stripe. Lunatic Fringe. I wonder if that means Dean Ambrose is in there. It's a nice Clark Kent cover. I dig that. I don't really know what the deal is with Superman Red and Blue. I remember fanboys complaining about it, and it was like all a big deal in Wizard back in the day, and they were like, oh, this sucks. I have no opinion. I haven't read any of them. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. I don't even know what the concept is or why he looks that way. I just know it took place after the death of Superman. Another Bizarro issue. I need to pick up the Walgreens exclusive Bizarro. I just haven't done it yet. There we have Supergirl in Action Comics, as I bump the camera. Looks like these are 93. I do remember when Superman was getting like a bit of a mullet, which I thought was kind of cool. It was very 90s move to go mullet on Superman, but I'm pretty happy about it. No complaints. Just never ends. Goes on. I believe that's Red. Oh, it's the Ray. I was gonna say, I thought that looked like Red Tornado, but not positive. I know, it doesn't even seem fair that somebody who's not even a huge Superman fan gets all these Superman books. Combined Powers of Shazam. It's a funny cover. I like that. And even though I don't know much about Superman blue or red or whatever, that's a cool cover. I can't deny that. And that is an interesting cover. These are looking a little saggy, so I'm going to pull these down. It's just an insane amount, guys. Got pretty much... I don't think I have as many Supermans as I did Spider-Man. But it's close. There's a duplicate. I haven't noticed a lot of duplicates. And I am going to say this about Superman comic here that I've noticed. And maybe it's just this era of DC. You know, there isn't a lot of covers that are just really making me go, wow. I mean, they're good. That's a great cover. I like that. But I'm not hitting, like, mega wow covers. And I feel like Marvel in the 90s, it didn't have a lot of wow covers, but it had a lot of good covers. And I'm just not feeling the wow on a lot of these. It's not that the art's not good. I mean, the art is great. Colors are great. Just, I haven't seen quite as much dynamic stuff on the covers as I have in Marvel stuff. And that might be partially why I never got into these as much or never picked them up. They just didn't have the cover power to really get me going on them. And always being a Marvel guy, it's kind of hard to bounce back and forth and get into DC as well sometimes. Especially when back in the day comic prices were going up so much and everybody was adjusting to that. That's a good cover. I like that. That's a fantastic cover. I like that. But all in all, just not as much. I don't know. The covers just weren't as good to me. I like the art in that one. Really like the art in that one. That's great. You know what this series has missed, though? There's a duplicate. Another duplicate. I have not seen one single cover that has dinosaurs on it. And I gotta give him a strike now. Because I just realized that. And maybe that's not a Superman book, but it's in with my Superman books. Now see, there's a great cover. It's bold, dynamic, simple, fantastic cover. But yeah, I'm gonna have to give him a strike. If I get through this whole series and there isn't one dinosaur on one cover, that's gonna be hurt, guys. That's gonna be bad. That's upside down. Okay. That's a beautiful cover. Adventures of Superman. That issue is pretty rough. That's a good cover. That's awesome. That cover is pretty bland. But still, I want to remind you, if there's some like mega gold issue in here that's like, oh gosh, you should really read that. That's a great one. Please let me know, because it is hard enough to even figure out what I have. And I noticed, you guys can see that I have them all mixed. That's a great cover. I love that version of Supergirl, classic version. You can see they're all mixed. I'm lucky enough that I have gone through all of them and got them sorted out of all the other comics. When we got them from her, man, they were a wreck. Some of them were bagged, some of them were not. A lot of them weren't. Most of them that were bagged had, how do I put it? Homemade backboards to them. Like, I'm going to cut out the back of a cereal box and slip that in the back of this comic or in the middle of the comic to keep it from getting bent. Not how you want to store comics. Now, I do have quite a few books that have spine rolls because of the way that they were stored and the way that they were improperly boarded with just regular pieces of cardboard. But I would say the vast majority of the books are fine. You can see a lot of these have just a little bit of a spine roll, and some of that's just because they sat stacked flat ways in boxes instead of being stored upright. So, I mean, the Widow's collection was not perfect by any means, but it was still a heck of a deal. Every issue out of there, it came out to about 23 cents a piece. And some of it is like this. It's like, oh my gosh, who wouldn't pay that? Some of it is pretty rough. Some of it I was like, ugh, you know, that's pretty rough shape. I don't like this artist on Superman. I don't dig that. But, you know, all in all, there's a duplicate. All in all, I cannot complain about this collection at all. Because it's just, like I said, it is humbling to see somebody that had worked so hard for all this stuff, buy it, collect it, bag it, and then his wife did her best to take care of it for years. There's a duplicate. And then she just finally hands it over to me. It's amazing. That's a beautiful cover. I love that. I kind of like that cover too. That's a great Superman cover. We're getting into some decent covers here. Still nothing like staggeringly amazing, but still very nice. And I'm very happy with them. We are getting almost there. I like that. One more Superman blue. Looks like we're gonna close out on that. And there. That is every issue of Superman, Adventures of Superman, Superman Man of Steel, and Action Comics starring Superman that I got in the Widows collection. And I thank you guys. If you watched all this way, thank you very much. That's my story, and I will catch you guys later.